Good morning to everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Marceli. And I would start from saying thank you to everybody who find the time to join us today, because I know that everybody is busy. This is the end of the year. A lot of things should be done, before going to the Christmas break. So once again, thank you so much. And as Marceli already told, we will be ready to answer the questions. Yeah, you can just drop the message. Yeah, and after the presentation, before the demonstration, we will be ready to clarify all the questions you have during the presentation. So before dive deep to the technology, before describe the solution and why it's useful, for you, for your customers, I would start from the let's say short from a short description of what is the situation on the security market. What is the situation with security postures in many companies today. And I found it a very useful survey, which is pretty fresh. It's a couple of months, was done a couple of months ago by Enterprise Strategy Group. And according to this, to that study, that threat detection and response continues to become more difficult for many security teams, and there is a variety of reasons for that. And from the numbers which presented on the slide, you can see that almost the half of the organization cited that increase of threat detection and response workload as a top challenge for them, and which is, in my opinion, in many ways linked to and the result of having to defend more distributed and more dynamic environments, against increasingly persistent threats and persistent adversaries. And the environment complexity plays a key role as well, with 40% of organizations citing that the increase in cloud-based resources and pointing to the increase in devices on the network as also a top challenge. And the threat landscape is also top of mind, with the 37% pointing to the sophistication of threats and 35% citing the volume of threats as a challenge as well. So just shortly summarize, the complexity, advanced threats, and the SOC workload remain the key issues for the security teams. Labyrinth deception platform was developed to solve such kind of problems, because our platform provides security teams with an efficient and at the same time simple tool for the earliest possible detection of advanced cyber threats that have bypassed the traditional, let's say, security systems or security measures. Labyrinth detects threats without continuous network monitoring, without producing tons of data, and without a specific knowledge needed to work with the solution. Basically, the platform creates imitations of different vulnerable IT services and applications, and in this way significantly increase the attack surface and disorienting attackers. So Labyrinth is a deception solution, and in short, deception is a network attached system which set up as a decoy to lure cyber attackers and detect, deflect, and study the hacking attempts to gain unauthorized access to any informational system. And the function of deception is to represent itself on a network as a potential target for the attacker. And usually it could be like some high value assets or critical service. And at the same time, to gather the information about the tools used and techniques, and notify defenders of any attempts to access decoys by unauthorized users. So deception gathers attackers' attention and keep them away from the real assets, giving defenders enough time to react. And What's the advantage? Yeah, to use deception-based approach to threat detection on a network layer, let's say compared to many other technologies which right now is available on the market. First of all, it's speed and accuracy, because Labyrinth designed to catch threat actions in the earliest possible stage. When an attacker just tries to understand the network architecture and to find the valuable target. And the solution does not require the collection and analyzing of a huge amount of data before generate a security alert. And just to use an example, so if compare, let's say, with UABA solution, yeah, just by the name, you understand that there should be a behavior before you can get any information like that something is went wrong and you have an adversary inside your network. With a deception, it works in a completely different way, because here you have one touch and that's enough for the solution to produce the alert, yeah, to notify the security team that someone in the network is doing something wrong. Yeah, because by the nature, deception is silent, and silent until it's been touched. Yeah, no one is supposed to contact decoys, so any interaction with the decoy is exceptionally suspicious. And this distinguish deception from other security solutions, which are intended to analyze all activities in a network, and in this way produce a lot of digital noise. Yeah, and based on that approach, Labyrinth supports security teams with a highly reliable alerts with less than 1% of false positives. And the second advantage is that deception wins time for security teams. The time between detection and response, and this time is crucial, especially for overloaded SOC teams, because just to be notified that something went wrong doesn't mean that you will be able to react in a proper way and react timely, in a timely manner. We have an example. One of our customers had let's say accident, yeah, and during the 10 hours, the guys who went to the already had the access to the network, they spent 10 hours playing with the decoys and generated like more than 1,000 alerts in the system, but they didn't manage to get anything valuable, yeah, any real assets. So why? Just because Labyrinth provokes the attackers for the actions that keep them busy with decoys. Yeah? And while an attacker proceeds through the fake infrastructure, they cannot damage a real one. At the same time, the platform captures all the hostiles details, and the security team receives information about threat sources, the tools that were used, and about exploited vulnerabilities, generally speaking, about the attacker's behavior. And in the meantime, the whole real infrastructure continues to work without any impact. So deception not only decreased the dwell time because the earliest possible detection, but also keeps adversaries away from valuable assets at the time they have to perform their malicious actions. And the last but not the least, the deception streamlines the incident investigation process. Just because this kind of solution, they gather only data related to security incidents. So it gives to several advantages to security teams, because it significantly simplifies the process of prioritizing incidents. You should, if you see that you have the alert from deception or many other alerts from many other systems, where they use, some complicated rules, for the detection, and the notification. So the prioritization is very easy. You should start from the deception, because there is a very small chance that the notification you got from such kind of system will be a false positive. And also, deception reduces time spent to false positive notifications, yeah, and provides a full visibility of the attack in real time, because you gather the information only related to the attack and in a timely manner presented to the security team. To summarize all the advantages of a deception, I use on this slide the Pareto rule. Yeah, it's a very good and clear illustration, in my opinion. So basically, if you are thinking about network detection and response, yeah, and about the protection of your network on the protection of your data and the valuable assets on the network layer, deception is a solution which, with the 20% of efforts, give you the 80% of result. Yeah, because you will have the immediate detection of any attacker in your network. At the same time, the solution takes hit on itself, yeah, and winning time for the security team to react. And also you have the clear and detailed information about all the attackers' action. It doesn't mean that you can rely on the deception only. It's like it's going to be not true to say that that's enough to cover all the possible cases, yeah, and just enough to use one tool for a network protection. But for the rest of the solution, you will not have such a significant increase, yeah, in your security posture, just because the rest of the solution is way more complicated to implement, way more complicated to run, yeah, to work with the solution, and the increase in your security posture will be not so significant. Basically, you will get like a log collection and some data from traffic, yeah, and additional context to investigation and digital forensic. So Labyrinth is not only one deception solution on the market, and here I would start that part which is described how our solution is different and why Labyrinth is the best choice for you and your customers if you are thinking about to implement the deception platform. First of all, we pay a really close attention to the credibility of the solution. Yeah? Just because all the simulation created by Labyrinth are high interaction decoys and providing the reply to the adversary actions at level of at least responding to scan interactivity, like prompting for credentials and displaying a graphical or a text interface. Each decoy in our system is unique with one IP address, no IP alias is used, and with all the attributes is different. It's unique for every decoy. Yeah? And this approach basically provide the industry's best believability for created simulation. And for example, we have the type of the decoy, which is a net bias client, generates traffic to detect an attacker's attempt to actively collect password hashes in Active Directory environment. Yeah. And for example, this type of decoy in our network that generate traffic and detecting mean in the middle attack, yeah, via the net bias protocol. And here we're different from many competitors, yeah, because some of them just like simply mirroring the existing assets with the low interaction honeypots, use IP aliases and the rest of the stuff, which makes the fidelity of that type of decoys is very low. And the fidelity of the decoys is very important. It's a basement, yeah, and without all the solution, without it, all the solution doesn't make a lot of sense. So in the end of the day, your solution can looks like the decoy on the video, yeah, where the guy just like it was a good idea, yeah, but the realization of that idea was not so good, and basically it doesn't work. The second point is complexity. Yeah. When we started our company and started to develop our product, we found that existing solution on the market too complex and too expensive. Yeah. Many of them use hardware for deployment. Use third-party licenses. Yeah, you have to buy the deception solution and also buy additional Windows license and etc. etc. Yeah. Some of them need a network traffic analyzers to be implemented to work properly. With our solution, you have the industry-leading time to value because the entire system deployment process from startup to production takes only few hours and no more. For the full function of the system, no additional purchase of third-party software license needed. The solution does not require a lot of hardware resources to deploy. It supports VMware, Hyper-V, hypervisor. So basically, there is no need for hardware. You can use the virtualization which you already have in your infrastructure, and also it could be deployed on-prem or in cloud. It's up to you. And the solution can be efficiently scaled in a large distributed enterprise network because it's, as I told, based on the virtual machines, and that virtual machines can be deployed in remote locations and connected via private or public networks. The platform also embedded the multi-tenancy and the RBAC model, which allows you to isolate and serve different departments of different customers in case of an MSSP from a different organization in just one installation. And last but not the least, Labyrinth embedded a unique technology which allows to provide the additional layer of security for the most vulnerable target in any IT infrastructure for the web-based applications and services. To protect them, we use a universal web point. Is a unique type of decoy which created in a way when the platform scans the network and uses the collected information to automatically create emulations of local web resources and web interfaces on the network, with the addition of vulnerabilities and the possibility to exploiting them. Yeah, so like scan response, requesting credentials, displaying a graphical interface, and etc. etc. Also, we have the Labyrinth is the only deception on the market with the two-way integrations with CM solutions, and these integrations that allows not only send data to CMs but also receive necessary information from them to ensure the full coverage of any possible attack vectors. To summarize, like why do you need? Why the Labyrinth is a better choice? Yeah, for to compare to other solutions. First of all, it can stop advanced threats. Yeah, and detect any kind of attack without previous knowledge, without like collecting the data and etc. Yeah, it also have zero performance impact. There is no performance degradation. There is nothing to which should be like must be deployed on the service endpoints and etc. etc. It's very easy to operate. Just deploy and forget about the solution until it will send you the notification that something is wrong, because there is no databases, no to update, no signatures, no rules, and etc. etc. Nothing like this. You just deploy it in a proper way and waiting until something happens, or I hope not. It also cut the operational costs because once again, no data for collecting, not like a huge infrastructure, no machine learning. You have to devote like some additional resources, and also there's the solution is very easy to operate. There is no special education or special skills needed to work with the solution. In 2 weeks, every system administrator can easily understand what is going on and understand when something happen, where to see, like, and where to find the necessary information to stop the adversary. And the last but not the least, it's rapid incident response. Yeah, the using of deception accelerates the mean time to actually reduces the mean time to detect and mean time to react by 12 times. It's according to statistic from Gartner, as I remember. Yeah, the usage of such solution gives your adversaries way less time, yeah, to perform the malicious actions in your infrastructure. We have a pretty good amount of customers, yeah, mostly based in Ukraine, and we cover all the industries. Basically, we have the government, have software deployment companies, have retail, and MSSP, and etc. etc. And I would stop on some examples of, I just picked up like 3 customers because they actually the good illustration of how the solution can be deployed and used in the different infrastructures. For example, the Polygraph Combine Ukraine, it's relatively small. Yeah, it's just 500 hosts, and they use Labyrinth as the only one solution to protect their assets on the network layer. So there is nothing like CM or SOC or whatsoever. They have only 2 guys who is responsible for the cybersecurity, and basically they use our solution as a standalone. Yeah, and for them, that's enough to protect their critical infrastructure. The next customer is OKO. It's a big retail chain of petrol stations in Ukraine. So they have a security operations center, they have the CM and all that stuff, and they use Labyrinth, yeah, to streamline the investigation process, to try to triage, yeah. So they use it like the main, I would say the main source, or the first, if something happened, this is the first source, which is where you should start the investigation, where you should start looking what is going on. Our solution is integrated with the IBM QRadar, so on a 2-way integration. So basically, because of the security operations center, obviously they rely on the CM as the basement, the base solution. So we have this integration and implementation now. And the last customer is Octava Defense. This is managed security service provider here in Ukraine. So they use our solution. They use them multi-tenancy functionality. So basically, they serve their customers, and this is the example of very distributed implementation, just because the management console is on the provider side, and work or not. This is the second part of the solution. This separate virtual machine on which all our decoys hosts. So they use it like for different customers all around the country, and got the data in one place and can isolate the customers from each other. So it's basically this customer is an example of using Labyrinth as a MSSP solution. This is it from my side. Before Anastasia will start the demonstration of the product, I am ready to answer your question if you have it.
Okay, I see no questions so far, so we can go forward with the demonstration, and then maybe at the end we'll arise some questions.
I will stop sharing my screen. There are two options. It was too clear or too complicated, yeah, to ask the questions. So let's see. Anastasia, you should be able right now to share your screen.
Okay, thank you. I'll take it from here. Now you might see my screen. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, so once again, good morning. My name is Anastasia, or Nastya for short. And today I'd like to dive more into our deception platform, Labyrinth. And we'll start with a brief theory part, talking about main components and how they interact with each other. So let's see, and we have admin virtual machine or management console, which is the main module that renders the web interface or web UI, which is used by operators, by users to configure and manage the platform. Also, it collects and stores info about security incidents. Also, it creates alerts, etc. In addition, it provides multi-tenancy or environmental isolation, in other words. So there may be a few tenants within a single installation, for example, for different departments or divisions of an enterprise with different handinets. We'll talk about them a little later. A number of points. Tenants, yes. They are with different handinets and a number of points or decoys. And through encrypted channels, it communicates with workers. Those are virtual machines as well, which are designed to create, store, and run, as I said before, deceptive network services or points. There may be more than one worker, and each of them can serve both one or several VLANs simultaneously. Handinets, they are network segments with specific parameters in which points operate. I'll show you the main features of handinet creations and some of those parameters a little bit later. But for now, let's talk more about points. These are network baits for the attacker, simulating a variety of IT services, but what's important with the possibility of their exploitation. On the screen, you can see an example of generated points and some of the available types. I'll show you more of them later as well. Another crucial thing to remember is CIDR. It is an agent software that creates CIDR tasks or decoys, in other words. The system also has an internal incident management functionality, which is implemented in the form of various states, which you can see on the screen. You can change between them, but with a mandatory comment field. And all of the changes are documented in the audit log. For now, let's move to more interesting part. As for me, it's practice. We'll examine some of the possible cases. And to begin with, let's see whether we have some of the generated baits or points. Yes, we do. So we can continue with our cases. First one is phishing using breadcrumbs or CIDR tasks. And let's see. They are represented by a variety of types, which you can see on the screen, but for now we'll go for SSH. Let's click on details to show what's inside the files. And let's type in our comments, SSH, our credentials. Then we need a password. Great. And as you can see, we're in. And we can see an alert. Let's try to type in some comments to make it more interesting. Let it be who am I, which will show the current user, and if config, to see current network interfaces. We have our info, and we can see our comments. Great. Let's try to move our alerts from one state to another. We'll move them to, let it be in progress. Write some comments. We can see that they change their state. Let's check audit log. We can see data, and if we click on details, we will see all of the crucial info. For example, who did the change, where, which tenant, from which IP address, and on which alerts. Let's continue. Next one is, I would say, it's classic, one of the classic examples. We'll do a network scan, but we won't scan all of the available IP addresses. We'll take one. Let's take the first one. I have to disconnect. Let's type in nmap, our IP address. Let's wait for a few seconds. And right here, we can see info about our ports. Sometimes it takes up to 15 seconds to get an alert, but we have it. Our attack was detected. Next, let's examine the case which Yuri was talking about. It's man-in-the-middle attack. If we look right here, we can see that we have a few points of net bias client type. Therefore, let's try to intercept some of the multicast messages from this local network. For this purpose, I have my virtual machine ready, and we'll use responder, which is free tool. Let's type in sudo python2 our script, responder py, and of course interface that we are about to listen. I misspelled my comment. Let's change a little bit. Yes, so now we have to wait for a few seconds. We have some of the hashes. Let's wait a little more. And while we're waiting, I'd like to show you the map. This is also an important part of the platform. Here we can see connections between header agents and points or baits. And in order to make a map more convenient, a point appears on a map after the system gets an alert featuring that specific point. If we click on one of them, we can see what exactly happened with the specific point. So let's return to our case. Yes, we have a lot of hashes. And we can see that responder has been detected and our attack was unsuccessful. Not a great day for attacking our network. Let's move to, this is one of the examples as well, but with a clear hash. Let's move to the last but not least case. It's web deception using universal web points. And as you may guess, for this case, we need a universal web point. If we move to create HoneyNet page, we can see that we need a bunch of like a common info. It's an ID, subnet, gateway, VLAN ID, etc. And also we can see all of the available points. Those are types of baits. that a user can use for generation. We can see SSH, VMware ES6, NetBIOS client, as we said before, MySQL, etc. But for now, we are interested in a universal web point. It's right here. This is a special network-based or point type that emulates available inter-network web resources, adding to them more vulnerabilities, which makes this point more attractive for attackers. Just click right here on HoneyNet scanning, and Labyrinth will look for web interfaces on some of the common or default ports, like default, for example, ELK, stack, or etc. And if you have your services on something unusual, on unspecific ports, you would like to fill in universal web clone IP field. Just type in. You can see some of the hints. Type IP and ports, and Labyrinth will use this information to generate points. So as you can see, the generation of HoneyNets is really easy, and it takes the same amount of time to create 10 points, 15, and 100. Unfortunately, I don't have a license for 100, so sometimes it happens. For now, let's continue with our case. We'll look for universal web points. Web points. We can see two of them, but one of them is post. Let's use the first one. We'll examine what we have right here. Okay, we have a MikroTik router configuration page. Let's start our netcat listener. We'll type in netcats LP. Let's use port 255. And we're good. Let's type in our RC. Oh, I have already one of the examples, but with one mistake. Let's examine what we have. We have RC, netcat, my IP to forward info data to my machine, and of course the port we specified before. Let's run, and we have something good. Let's check whether we have an alert. We have to. By the way, this is one of the possible. You can see an alert also by clicking on the bell. Let's wait for a few seconds. And we have our RC detected. With all of this, after receiving all of these alerts, you may ask, how can we get those alerts in more efficient and faster and more convenient way? And for such cases, we have integrations with other systems. So let's move to settings, integrations. And as you can see, a user can easily receive alerts in Slack, for example, Microsoft Teams, or even forward logs to, for example, ELK stack using syslog forwarder. What's more, for Splunk and IBM QRadar, we have two site integration, which means that new alerts will be generated according to the data the systems have. How? By detecting usage of host names. As you may notice, while creating HoneyNets, you have to specify the word list you're about to use for getting data for passwords, host names, and usernames on our points or network base. In my case, I have default list, but you can also add your specific ones as well. So that's all from me, and I will be glad to answer your questions if you have some. Thanks for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Anastasia. I do not see questions, but for sure, if you will have some, please write to us. If you can switch to your presentation at the end. You have the
Just a moment.
yes, you have the contact information to us here, to Yuri or to me. I'm operating in Poland, and I'm supporting Labyrinth development in European Union and worldwide. So if you have any question regarding partnership, please come to us and we can discuss with you this individually. We are happy to have on board our first distributor in European Union. That happens today, so we will announce this at the beginning of the year officially, but we are happy to see the progress. And we invite all of you to cooperate with us. We will provide you with all needed support with the business, commercial support, with the marketing and pre-sales and post-sales as well with the implementations. Our engineers are available to help with the proof of concepts at your customer sites who are interested in deception technology. So please free to contact us and use our resources.
And also I would add in the very end. So once again, thank you for participating, and have a good time with your family and friends and the Christmas break. And I hope to interact with and more describe, like, you know, and to get you more familiar with our solution after the New Year.
Yes, thank you, and we wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and enjoy your time, and thank you for coming to us today. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.